Welcome to Lair the Alchemist, where we discuss all things heavy metal and hard rock. For this episode, a new music challenge. So I did one a little over a week ago, which was to pick an album a day and give it your undivided attention. And to do that for a week, some people, a lot of people took up the challenge and had a lot of great comments about the albums that they listened to. Some people even said, you know, I'm going to keep doing this because I really enjoyed it, which is great, which is awesome, because that's kind of what this is about, is sort of challenging ourselves to do something a little bit different. So for this one, I made a video a couple days ago, as of the making of this video, of popular bands that I've never owned an album by. And it was really interesting because a lot of other people chimed in, and some people were like, you know, I've never owned a Guns N' Roses album or an AC/DC album or whatever. And a lot of people made great suggestions. They're like, you know, you got to check out this album by this artist, because a lot of those artists that I don't have albums for, they're artists that, you know, obviously nothing appealed to me, so I never went out and bought anything by them. And you know, there are records in my collection of artists that I don't like, but I did buy some of their albums. For instance, I have one or two Billy Joel records in my collection, and Steve from All the World's a Stage inspired my albums I don't own by popular artists, and Billy Joel is one of the artists that he mentions. And I actually have I think I have two Billy Joel albums, but I don't like Billy Joel. I never listened to him, so that didn't qualify for the criteria for the never ever owned an album by these particular popular bands. So for this challenge, what I'm going to do, and I'll put this out there to everybody else too, is I took the list of bands that, most of the bands that I listed as never owning anything by them, and I am going to make it a point to listen to at least one album by those bands, to give it a good listen, hopefully maybe more than one listen, but I'm going to really listen from beginning to end to an album from each one of these bands. So I've picked, all right, Iggy Pop. A lot of people mentioned The Passenger, and that was an album that I think I referenced as being vaguely familiar with. So I'm going to listen to The Passenger by Iggy Pop. Never listened to the whole thing, so this will be interesting. I'm going to listen to Funhouse by the Stooges. A lot of people were like, you got to check out the early Stooges stuff. I've heard other people talk about Funhouse, so I've never listened to it. I will check out and listen to Funhouse by the Stooges. I picked 3, 4, 5, I picked 7 so that I could do one a day. Next is the Ramones, and of course I've heard stuff by the Ramones, but I'm going to listen to their self-titled album. I know that's a classic. I've recognized a bunch of songs on it already, but I've never listened to it from beginning to end. Lou Reed, a few people mentioned Rock and Roll Animal. I will check out that album. I think that they said it was a live album, so I will check that out. DRI, one person strongly recommended that I listen to Thrash Zone, so I will check out Thrash Zone. I think the same person might have recommended, maybe somebody else did. I think more than one person recommended for Suicidal Tendencies, How Will I Laugh Tomorrow. Never heard that album, so I will check that out. Crosby, Stills, and Nash, I'm going to listen to their self-titled album. So, okay, there you go. There's 7 albums from bands I've never owned a record by, never listened to these albums from beginning to end. I'm going to try to do an artist a day. The challenge for you out there, if you wish to take this up, is you can pick as many artists as you want. You can do one, do many, whatever you want to do. I'm not going to put a time frame on this one. I did that for the last one, and I was like 2 days late. I said I would do it in a week, and it took me like 9 days to get back because the theme of the last one was life gets in the way. So I'm not going to put a time frame on this. I'm going to try to check in early next week and let you guys know of my quick thoughts on all these albums that I have never listened to. I've never listened to any of these albums at all, at least of all from beginning to end. So this is going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm a person who's open-minded. Even when I say I don't like something, it's, you know, there's so much music out there that you have to sort of pick your spots, right? There's only so much time in the day. We all have bands and artists and albums that mean something special to us, but I do like to push myself, and I've totally recognize, like for instance at the Ramones and the Stooges and DRI and Crosby, Stills and Nash. These are legendary bands that a lot of people really like. So this is going to be a good exercise for me to force me make myself sit down and really listen to these albums, give them a couple listens. I'll report back in about a week or so, let you guys know what I thought. You guys can leave comments down below. If you want to check in on this video in the comments here as you go through this exercise, go ahead. If you want to wait till I post my response video for you to respond with how you did, the albums that you picked. So, all right, so let's have some fun with this. Some bands, popular bands you've never ever owned anything by. Go find what is like their biggest album, listen to it on YouTube. I'm going to be listening on Spotify or wherever you can listen to these things. So, all right, so let's see what happens. I'll see you guys in a week with the results. And until we see you then, make sure you stay heavy, stay metal.